Welcome back. Thanks for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I wanted to briefly go over last night's game again. I did a video right after the game that actually got pretty in depth. Also had some copyright issues, so I had to edit it. Unfortunately, I couldn't show you the highlights and commentary I had with it at the beginning. And then I want to finish up, which is the real purpose of this video, is show you a clip, hopefully fingers crossed that it's allowed, of something I think is really important, something that we all are kind of looking at with this team, with all the drama that's been going on just in the WNBA, as well as the Fever and Clark's teammates. So, as you probably know by now, big win for the Fever last night. Caitlin Clark had another stat stuffing game with a double double. It was their third straight. They've won 5 of their last 7. Clark had 18 points, career high 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals. And as it mentions here, she had 6 turnovers. I did a couple videos on that. It doesn't bother me, but keep that 6 turnovers in mind because that's important. We're going to get to that in a little bit, of something that I think is really important. By the way, this is ESPN. ESPN, I'm just me. I can make these mistakes, but why does this article say they're 5-10? They're 6-10. And as you can also see, Clark, first rookie in WNBA history, 40 points, 15 rebounds, and 15 assists in 2 games. So she's had back-to-back really, really good games to go with that 23 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists over the Sky. So that's also a really good sign. Oddly enough, double doubles have come with rebounds and points, though she did say don't get used to it in terms of 12 rebounds. She credits her teammates here, which was nice. Sometimes the ball just bounces your way a little bit more. Clark said, a lot of the times the people I'm guarding are getting back on defense, so I have a little more free reign of like going and chasing the ball while our bigs are probably boxing out and hitting a little bit more. So credit to them. I think we're really good when I can get it off the rim and push in transition. So I take a lot of pride in trying to chase it down off the rim and then really go. Now, the reason I read that whole quote is 3 things. She credits her teammates. She explains why it's a little easier for her to get defensive boards in terms of the people she's guarding because they're leaving. They're not necessarily chasing offensive rebounds. And then, and I know it wasn't meant this way, but it is actually a very good criticism or dig at the coach. I think we're really good when I can get it off the rim and push in transition. Absolutely 100%. I've been saying that many times. They are a much better team when they can get out in transition and get quick buckets as opposed to a set offense. I mentioned in the video last night, and I showed a couple clips to see this, but then they got copyrighted so you couldn't see. But what I had shown was a couple of times where they got in transition and Aliyah Boston was getting ahead of the ball and she got a couple of easy baskets off good passes from Caitlin Clark. That wasn't happening earlier in the season. Earlier in the season, when Caitlin would push, Clark is trailing the play and not getting involved in a transition offense. So that is also something to look for. That's, I think, been a positive development for their offense. It's really, really important. They've won 5 of 7 now. Now it was a 3-game home stand, but they won their last home game as well, as Caitlin pointed out in the post game when reporter asked about the 3-game home winning streak, and she said, "Well, it's actually 4, which is their first since August of 2015." One final quote, and then I want to get to some important video clip. The confidence that we've been able to build from the last 3 games is, continue to take a step forward and learn each game. And if we do happen to lose one, how are we going to respond? That's been a big thing for us too. The last game we lost, we found a way to respond and string off 3 straight wins. I think we've gotten a lot better over the course of these last 3 games, and we're continuing to build on that. Agreed. I do think we see a lot of things, unfortunately, that show that they're not going to be able to beat the top teams unless they make some more changes that we talked about. I have some other videos that I want to do as well, some things that popped out, some changes that the coach absolutely has to make, regardless of what this offense is doing. And look, as I think I mentioned last night, you're not going to get this. First of all, you're not going to get this every game against anyone, but especially not against better teams. I mean, Boston, Mitchell, and Clark. And as you know, Mitchell and Clark are distance shooters. They both shoot a decent number of threes. They don't take easy shots. Combined, those three were 22 for 34, including 7 of 12 from three. That's that's insane. Absolutely insane. Fantastic shooting performance from them. And look, shooters are streaky too. So, every game you get a 7 for 12, you're going to get a 3 for 14 or what have you, whether it's Mitchell or Clark. But let's check this out because I think this was really cool. We talked a lot about, and I'm still not seeing it in a game. I've yet to see it, but we've talked a lot about coming to the defense of Caitlin Clark, her teammates. And so I thought this was really cool from Aliyah Boston. I don't think we can hear I don't think we can hear the reporter's initial question, but he asked about Caitlin Clark's turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple here and there. I think one was a set design where I kind of just assumed Aliyah was going to be open and I didn't even really look before I threw it. So I think just slowing down a little bit. Honestly, I'm trying to remember the other ones.
It's
Another one
okay.
was to
It's okay.
Aliyah that was
Don't.
throwing
It's
out
all
of
right. It's all
bounds.
right. Don't worry. Because here's the thing. Don't worry. Because I mean, you look at Caitlin and you look at the way she passes the ball, and so sometimes things are gonna happen that way, and that's okay because we're not gonna let her hang her head. We're not gonna hang our head off of any missed passes because we're still continuing to gel together, and we know that she's a great passer. And so if she thinks she can get that ball there, she's gonna throw it. And if I miss it, then we're good. All right. Don't you worry. We're good. Don't worry.
Thanks.
That like really it seems like a small thing, but that would not have happened earlier in the season. And I don't mean just from Boston. I just don't think that would have happened from anyone because, as you recall, it didn't. Because what was one of the big criticisms of Caitlin Clark early, no matter what she did well, it was, oh, but the turnovers, oh, but the turnovers. And there you had a teammate defending that and explaining why it happens and that we're okay with it. And again, I feel like I have to point this out every video because there's always going to be someone in the comments about never being critical of her and all the turnovers and everything else. Are there some things she can do to cut back on turnovers? Of course, every player can. She's a rookie. And again, I will say the biggest thing I see is sometimes she gets a little lackadaisical with the ball on the dribble. And I think having her pocket picked to me when she shouldn't, when she's just got a defender in front of her. And I think her head is more into what she's seeing and what's coming as opposed to making sure she's protecting the ball and getting in a good dribbling stance. Those turnovers have to stop. I think that's the biggest area improvement. I'm not really having a problem with the passes. I think there were a couple last night that were just they weren't caught. And again, I'm not even saying these last night earlier in the season. Yeah, but last night I'm not even saying they were like easy passes that should have been caught. They were difficult passes to catch, but they have to get used to catching them. There was the one that was the behind the back off the bounce that hit Aliyah in the hands. But I'll tell you, I don't think she had any expectation of that pass coming to her. But that's the type of thing that happens. But I wanted to point this out because I think with all the stuff we're seeing in the WNBA and with the Indiana Fever around, well, do her teammates like her? They're not defending her. Mitchell doesn't pass her the ball. Wheeler doesn't pass her the ball. We'll talk about that in another video. But so I think something like this is it seems small, but in everything else surrounding it, I think it's really important. Let me know in the comments below what you all think about the Fever as a team and what you're seeing. And are you seeing things that are still concerning regarding the relationship between the players? Because look, that matters in sports. They talk about it a lot. You see certain teams, and I can tell you as a Philadelphia guy with the Phillies. That off the field stuff, they've got it. Like that is a great locker room. The guys love playing together and it matters. Of course, winning takes care of a lot of things too sometimes, but it does matter. Locker rooms do matter. Yeah, teams that don't get along can go out and win, but it can have a big impact, positive or negative, depending on what the locker room's like. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm going to leave it there. Hey, hit like and subscribe. It really is appreciated. I really do appreciate what all of you are doing with the comments and the likes and subscriptions. It matters a lot so that YouTube doesn't just, not show my videos to anyone. But thanks for checking this out. I will talk to you later.